Game on. Ooh, there we go. Hi everybody, Matt Geary for the Geek Pride cast on this Sunday evening. With me tonight, we have Peter Ray Allison.
I'm back.
And back by popular demand, Jon Jo Cosgrove.
Hooray! By popular demand. Wow. Someone missed me. I'm guessing that was you, Matt.
Things were a lot quieter last time, Jon Jo. Yeah, a lot quieter.
Lovely. Well, we're about to ruin that trend.
My dog is making strange noises in the back room. There's a dog across the way. Fucking hell, dog! Jesus Christ! But there's a dog at my next door neighbors, and it's a girl dog. And my Boz hasn't had his bollocks chopped off yet. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do it or not because one, there's health issues and stuff, and two, I don't want to be any less of a man.
It's like you're neutering your son.
Yeah.
You know?
But there's a girl dog, and it's owned by like an older couple beside us, and it can't go outside without barking, like literally going mental. The thing is, though, it sets Boz off. Like literally, Boz goes absolutely ballistic when this dog's out there, and you can hear him. You can kind of hear him sort of grumbling now, but it's like he's going absolutely ballistic. 1 minute, right, you know what? 1 minute. Shut up, bloody dog! What? I know you're not allowed out. Wow, but like you should hear him. It's this, but yeah, he goes absolutely mental because there's this dog, and all it does when it gets outside early in the morning and sort of like in the afternoon and in the evening, it goes wow 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 wow, wow, and he goes skits, and he has managed to get over 4 barricades I made for him. So I barricaded up this sort of area in the back gardens to stop him from escaping, because Tibetan Mastiffs can climb, and Boz literally finds new ways to escape from my garden every single day, and he's just oh my god.
Are you sure your dog isn't actually Ethan Hunt? Because it sounds like whatever path he's then planning it that night. He goes, okay, he's put a new wall up. Right, so if I get spot 3 and spot 5, I'm sure I can jump over and land in the next garden.
Yeah, he's like a raptor, man. He's like a raptor in Jurassic Park, like proper just working out the weaknesses and stuff like this. Like I caught him today. Now this new barricade, I'm pretty sure is Boz proof. Like the last one I thought was Boz proof and it didn't, and the last one before that was Boz proof but it wasn't. But this one I figured out. I've literally nailed stuff onto like this like tube this like pallet thing which the neighbor gave me, because the neighbor, he was sort of sick and tired of Boz escaping into his garden, that he sort of went, you can have this. So I've put that up. I've nailed some stuff onto it. I've put like this corrugated iron sheeting over it. I've put like an old gaming table thing I had across it. I've added sort of like some chairs with the legs sticking out so it's hard for him to get purchase. I've put rocks on it. I've put all kinds of stuff to stop him from getting him. But I caught him like today, like just like trying to destroy it. So he sits there and he gets there and he just chews away at it so he can get through.
What?
And it's
Why
just
does it sound like if I went to your back garden, I'm just
balls.
picturing like the obstacle course from the Krypton Factor.
He's just oh my god, he's just, and it's that single dog. As soon as that dog's outside, he goes absolutely, you can hear him, well, you could hear him there, he was going absolutely mental. He was just sort of like, a want to get outside, and he tries his best, and like, he doesn't seem to act like that around any other dogs, but this dog just sends him crazy, and he's like running around the garden trying to find ways to escape and interrupting Daddy's podcast. Shut up!
Just chop his balls, dude. It'd be a lot easier in the long run.
Well, this is the thing. One is I didn't want to do it because he's Daddy's little warrior. He's not, I don't want him to have no balls. But 2, I was kind of thinking at some point I might breed him and make a bit money back from all the damage he's caused me. His last vet bill, and this is why you should get insurance, ladies and gentlemen. And I was always, I'll get insurance. It's fine. You'll be fine. This was for a few pills, some ointment, and sedation. Cost me 540 quid.
Oh God.
540 quid for that.
You know what? It's because of the size of the dog. They've just got to keep pumping him. It's like, yeah, come on, this will work. This will work.
It's just,
we need more anaesthetic, quick.
yeah, and it's sort of like, I was like, my God, dog, you cost me a small fortune.
But come on, you wouldn't change him for the world.
No, that's the thing is, he's hard work and he can be an absolute pain in the ass, but he's just, he's got his own little isms and, he's just who he is. And, I love it. When you come in and he's destroyed something, you're just like, oh, God, dog. But in the end, you can't really look at him. You can't really sort of be mad at him for too long because he gives you that face of like, what? You left me behind. I didn't think you were ever coming back. And with this is another thing he's done the other day. Sorry, just like I have this camera somewhere over here, which and he was obviously I was spying on him, and he disconnected it. The little shit. It was like one of those things. So I was sitting there kind of looking at him, making sure he wasn't fucking doing anything wrong. And he sort of just kind of looks at it and then takes the wire and yanks it out. And I was just like, you little bugger. But I was kind of impressed with him because, it's just like, he knows. But yeah, there you go. That's my Boz story. He's currently at 16.2 thousand followers on TikTok.
Knew the TikTok had to be mentioned at some point.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's just it's he's Boz's fame.
The thing is, though, you've got to remember it's Boz's fame, not yours.
Well,
it's all about the dog.
I'm living vicariously through him. His fame it will be my fame and stuff. So it's just like there you go. But it's just funny, man. It's the same with anything. Like you get it on Geek Pride and stuff like that. Where you'll do an opinion, and I try now to not have opinions on a lot of things because you get so much comeback from them. But you have an opinion on something, and you get a million people just telling you, no, you should do this, and they're all contradicting each other. So like with Boz, I had this thing about sort of like showing what he's eating and what I should feed him, and I had like people kind of going, oh, I was trying raw eggs. People, you shouldn't give him raw eggs. He'll get salmonella. He'll get this, and I was just like, I'm pretty sure that's not true. And then somebody else is like, no, they're really good, you should put the eggshells in. And then somebody says, no, you shouldn't do that. And then somebody's going, oh, you shouldn't do this and that. And then somebody arguing against that, and it's just like, my God, I'm tired already.
That's called audience engagement, I think.
Yes, I just like it and go, yeah, cool, I'll try that out. It's just like, some of them there are some good sort of bits of advice which I've taken on board, but there's some people who are just absolutely insane, and you're just like, all right, I'm ignoring you. So anyway, over the last week, what has everybody been up to?
After last week's hiccup, really be careful, guys, when you're eating food. Basically, I managed to get some food stuck in my throat and couldn't speak for about 3 or 4 days.
I just realised both of you weren't on the podcast last week, were you? Yeah. So everybody else has left. They heard you were coming back, and they've gone.
Yeah, because this is like Batman and Robin coming back after a triumph. I'll say a triumphant break, but it wasn't. What was that? You're not Robin?
No, I'm definitely not Robin.
All right, if I've got to be Robin, I want to choose the type of Robin I am. I don't want to be Dick Grayson because I think he wasn't that great. Damian Wayne. I'd like to be Damian Wayne Robin.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, actually, one thing I picked up recently was Quantum Break in the Steam sales by Remedy. Remedy are a really good company. I really love their style of gaming because they do very cinematic action games like Max Payne, Alan Wake, both are fantastic games. And I just started playing Quantum Break, and I'm liking it. It's basically a combination of a video game, but with episodic television segments.
I remember, when was it? About 2 or 3 years ago, it originally came out, and it's been quite a few years since I think you've really had a game that had live action cutscenes. But yeah, like you say, it's kind of like part TV show, and I think
basically they filmed 4 segments.
Yeah.
With TV quality production. That are kind of interspaced throughout the game. Now, and each segment changes based upon your actions and decisions in the game itself. So I'm really liking. I mean, be honest. I mean, in the future, that is how I see entertainment going. I mean, we've already seen some of that with the Charlie Brooker TV show.
Oh yeah, the Black Mirror.
Bandersnatch.
That's it, Bandersnatch. Yeah, good way. Basically, it's choose your own television.
And that I think that was actually brilliant. That was and I'm surprised that Netflix haven't jumped on that more. The only other thing I think they've done was Kimmy Schmidt. They've done an episode of that.
The problem is the amount of production.
Oh yeah,
that will have to go into for each decision is going to be ramp up the cost. That is why there is some lag in that uptake. It was well executed, but that you have to put in more and more, invest more and more time, money, resources into every decision that is and also consider how will this decision impact upon the overall storyline. So that takes more. And I mean as production is refined, as technology improves, as more and more as this idea is developed more and more, we'll see it come. It is coming. I mean, it's just kind of it's not coming in 5 years. It's not going to possibly in 10 years. That's a longer, but long term.
What was it? There was an episode of Simpsons, weren't there? When they've all got buttons on the side of them. He goes, "Yeah, should this happen, press A." No, Futurama. Or should this happen, press B. And he presses A. He goes, "You selected B." "No, I didn't. I'm almost certain you did." It's like, what was it? It's like, yeah, if you'd like to see him go into a gunfighting dogfight, choose A. If you'd like to see him redo his taxes, press B. It's like, can you imagine that if you're in a cinema and all of a sudden you just see this poll above your head? The audience has voted 80% A. Here we go. Here's the rest of your movie.
I think what's it called, Minecraft. There's a Minecraft show on Netflix, and it's multi. You can change. Because my ex's daughter used to play that on the TV and stuff.
Yeah, my son's just getting into Minecraft, and I mean I think it's great. Like this is a very creative, imaginative game, and I mean it's basically Lego. I mean that's the thing, and there's also been Telltale Games. Minecraft game.
The Walking Dead one. The first one was, what's the girl called? What's the little girl?
Clementine.
Yeah, that's it.
Clementine.
I played that, and it was quite traumatic, and I just didn't play any of the others.
I played up until the last season because the last one finished about a year and a half ago, and it's one of them things that it shouldn't, but you almost do feel quite emotional when you're playing it. It does hit you, especially like following Clementine's character, because effectively you've been following her for 7 years by the time the series finished. And it's a long time to be invested in a video game character, really.
I managed to play the first 2 episodes of the first season of the Walking Dead game. Now, and I love the comics. The comics are great, but the video game suffered from the same thing which the TV series do, which is that it's misery porn. And it's just... I just got enough.
Oh, you had to say that when I had a mouthful of drink as well. Not to spit that out.
But
misery porn.
It is absolute misery porn, and it just got too much.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm.
You need lightness of tone to balance it all out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm into that sort of have to make decisions that affect other people. As much as it's realistic and stuff, it's just like I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like that or not. It just sort of I kind of want everybody to be happy, and I want everybody to get through and stuff.
So I've got to step away from the microphone. I can't stop laughing at that. Do you know? I kind of agree, but this is what I always said about The Walking Dead. I've always followed it because it's the human drama, and I always feel that not everything has to have a perfect ending. Not everything has to be tied up in a nice, neat little bow. And The Walking Dead has taught me, life can be shit. So, just look at this and think, well, things could be a lot worse. That's kind of and
actually, Robert Kirkman made an interesting point about The Walking Dead, which was that it said it's basically a soap opera but with zombies, and he's absolutely correct because he does focus on the human drama and the relationship between the survivors. And every now and then there's a zombie.
Laura says on Facebook, Gary is too nice to be a gamer. Lawful good. Yeah. The only games I'll sort of And even then, I'm a bit sort of iffy. If I play strategic games where there's no real characters, it's literally just, you are an overlord on a board, like, sort of Axis and Allies or Risk or even sort of Rome 2 on the game. I can be a bit more sort of like, yeah, I'll do that. But even so, I'm still a bit like, I have to do the right thing. So like me and my brother, we play board games every time I'm back in Northern Ireland, and we'll generally play one of the big ones. And it was a game called Medieval Universalis, which is huge game for up to 9 players, and it's kind of like diplomacy meets Risk meets Total War, and it's so in depth, but you had to declare war, so it's one of these things you can't just go in and attack people because it has effects on the points you get and stuff like that. So if you declare war and then you attack afterwards, then you have no negative connotations to it and stuff. So I was like, right, I'm getting to that point where I'm getting quite strong, so I'm declare war on them. So I was like, right, I'm declaring war on you, in the next turn I'm going to attack. And my brother's like, okay, and then attacked me straight away. And when I wasn't waiting for it, and it's just like, he's like, I figured it out. The negative points I would have got wouldn't have affected me because I would have got more points by taking more of your land. So I was just like, you shit.
Have you heard of Polytopia? It's this kind of little mobile game, and you play like. It's free for if you want to play it just like to yourself, but if you want to kind of play it with your mates online, it's about 99p to buy a try, but then at that point you unlock the full game. And it's basically like, it's like a little 8-bit style Risk meets Civ. And I think you and your brother would love it, Matt. But yeah, I've been playing it with my mates from university for the past few months. And there's one bit where mate messages me going, "Wait, Pete, don't attack me. I won't attack you, and we'll gang up on our friend because they are just charging over." I said, okay, that's good. And I thought, I'll stab him in the back, like in a few turns. But he goes around and attacks me straight away.
Yeah,
I've still not got him back for that.
Yeah, well, I'm the same when it comes to games like that. I'm very trusting when it comes to alliances and things like that. I will sort of eventually go, if it gets to a point where we're both going to just butt heads with each other, that then I'll do it. But if we've got an alliance, I'm generally loyal to it, but I always get stabbed in the back, always. Laura says, Pete, Jon Jo, what are you on the alignment chart? So what is it? Lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful chaotic, neutral good, neutral, and then evil. What do you think?
I'm chaotic good.
You're chaotic good?
Yeah, I don't like the rules. Yep. Which is bad for when you've been in engineering.
What about you, Jon Jo? What do you think you are?
Oh, I don't know. According to some people, I'm just evil. So I just.
I don't think you're evil. I think you're.
Look, this is weird. Matt Geary's defending me.
I might take the piss, Jon Jo, but you're a swell fellow. So
I like to think I'm good. Play by the rules, things like that.
Yeah.
I like to think so.
What are you, Laura? What are you? That's the question.
Evil.
No, I would not say that. I will have to point out though that obviously I did get because Laura a little while ago had been making face masks, and I did pick up the Batman one that she made, and you know what? I actually really like it. I put it on and I was like, this actually fits really nicely. I was expecting it to be like, I bet I'll be like, oh God, it's like right on my face or something like that. I wouldn't be able to talk or anything, wouldn't be able to breathe. But it's actually really nice and comfortable. And I done my first shopping trip on Thursday wearing the mask, and it was great. I didn't feel too hot in it. I actually was able to breathe quite well. And surprising. Well, it's not really surprising, but it's when you see how many people are wearing the mask now, and it makes you think, this is, at least for the next few months, this is the normal way of life now. And I just like, I'll just get on with it. It's fine.
Yeah,
just give 1 minute, gentlemen. 1 minute. My dog is going ballistic. Give me 1 minute. You carry on. He's going fuck.
Well, I was going to say, is Laura, to check out Laura's mask styles, she does great masks. But yeah, I got some Batman mask a few weeks ago, so thank you very much for that, Laura, much appreciated. And I was wearing it around, like another Batman one, and I'm doing my weekly Asda shop, like with a mask on and just walking around as I do. And there's a little girl, And I was walking past her, and just I would say smiled to her, but it's hard to see. You're smiling when you're wearing a mask.
You just see the eyes, don't you? Go up. And
Yeah,
go,
I just kind of just raised my eyes a bit.
or is that a frown? Or yeah.
I was just raised my eyes at her and just kind of just gave her a little nod and walked on. And as I was walking, and I overheard her as I went past her, going, "Mummy, mummy, mummy, it's Batman." And I thought, thank you. But I mean, it's like stuff like that. I mean, it just gives someone, a smile, just lighten their day. When to be fair, 2020 has been pretty shit.
There was a guy dressed as Spider-Man walking around where I live in Disley, just sort of like so he could sort of wave at kids and things like that.
Yeah.
And
I've heard loads of things like that. I mean, I know one guy kind of does his morning jog dressed as Spider-Man, and we're kind of just wave at kids as he's walking past. And I've heard cosplayers doing little kind of video Skype scenes to children on their birthdays to wish them their happy birthday because they can't meet up with their friends for the birthday party.
Oh.
And I mean, so lots of stuff like that. And big up to the cosplayers out there for kind of just taking the time, energy to spread a little love.
I think my favourite one I've seen was there was the guy that was actually operating a full-size Dalek, and he was going around up the street. He's going, "You must isolate. This is the command of the Daleks. You must isolate." And it was like, I loved that. I'd love to have that going down my street. Yeah. Listen to this thing, all right? If you don't, it will zap you.
Yeah.
We talk, saying about things that are good, bad, and things like that. I don't know if either of you have yet to play, or if you're planning to play The Last of Us Part 2.
No,
I don't have a PlayStation.
Fair enough. I have been playing it. I'm about 22 hours into the campaign now, and do you know, I've actually been quite enjoying it. I think it's a really good game. It's probably the best looking game at the. Oh, gone.
Sorry, what is the issue people have had? Now, I've seen some mixed things on it. You've got some proper people who are kicking off about it, saying it's the worst game ever. But then you've got people who sort of are saying it is the best story they've ever seen in their life.
This kind of goes with this is what I find really horrible with some people. There is still a massive issue with sexism, I think, all around the world. I mean, when I remember when Wonder Woman was first being released, and that got review bombed like crazy, and then Captain Marvel got released, and people just review bombed that 2 months before it was even out. You had the Rotten Tomatoes poll, and it was 10% positive. It's like, how can you even give a vote for a film that's not even out yet? This is kind of nothing as well. The first game was predominantly male driven, so it was a male character that you're playing as. For the majority of this game, you are playing as a female character, and it just seems like a lot of people just don't seem to be accepting of the idea that we're supposed to have equality, we're supposed to have progression in our world. We're not supposed to see men as greater than women. We're supposed to see everyone as equal, and I think that's what a lot of problems has been towards it. A lot of people don't like the idea that it is a lesbian character that is your lead in this game, and it's like, why is that such an issue with people? Why do people have to think, oh, I'm gonna cause upset because I don't have anything better to do? And these are probably the same pricks that are sitting in the pub, all squashed in with their mates yesterday. I don't get why people have such a negative view over something that should just be seen as normal. It should be just seen as the everyday. And going back to the game. In a way, I think the game is fantastic. It has got a great story. It's, like I say, it's probably the best looking game I've actually ever played. And there is at times when you're watching the gameplay, it looks like it is right there. It's like you're watching it from a camera. It just looks so gorgeous. The detail, the textures, just everything.
Yeah, I saw a video. Yeah. Not a video. I saw it was a post guy called Matt Johns. He's a filmmaker. He actually did many moons ago when we did our Geek Pride sort of charity, one of our charity events. He did a little film for us at the photo shoot, and he was saying how amazing the storyline was, how it was just beautiful. And he says possibly one of the best storylines he's had in a game. he's ever seen and stuff, and that's kind of high praise because he's a good filmmaker.
Yeah, but the thing is this is what I found, especially with video games, even in the last 2 or 3 years. Stories in video games are obviously the big selling point. Because most people, you either go into a game because you want the story, you want to take something out of the character and the experience you're going through, or you've got the crowd of people that like to just, go on like Fortnite or Call of Duty and just shoot things up for hours and hours.
It's the endless debate between what is more important, story or gameplay. And it depends in many ways on the game you want to make. I mean, Doom, to be fair, is the focus is going to be on gameplay.
Yeah.
The story is basically demons emerge on Mars, kill everything. You do not need much kind of contextualization, narrative driven to say, why am I killing this demon? It's a demon, you've got a shotgun, you shoot it. But games like Mass Effect and Vampire, that was a great game, and coming up, Cyberpunk 2077, those are story driven, and you really want a good story behind it. And actually, has anyone seen the trailers or some of the gameplay videos of the new Cyberpunk game coming out?
Yeah, there was
that looks
last
amazing.
week. I remember watching it, and the detail that is going into this title, and it is by CD Projekt Red. These are the guys that brought The Witcher, and Witcher 3 was fantastic. It was just such an amazing in-depth world. Cyberpunk, I mean, this is a thing as well, because Cyberpunk, I think it's like now delayed until November, and it's like the fourth.
Yeah, basically, well,
it's delayed.
Holiday 2020 is what they're saying. But they've said from the get-go, it will be released when it's ready. And they're just polishing. But that's the
like
thing.
Any game.
They could very easily release it and then just patch it.
Yeah,
they're not releasing it to.
I just hope they haven't overstretched themselves. It's kind of like Anthem. Anthem had so many sort of people hyped about it. When it came out, it just wasn't what it was described as, and I don't want them to do that. Now, Anthem, it is still a good game, and I think it got some unfair reviews because it was good for what it was. It just was unfinished, and that got postponed a few times. But I just don't think they should. I just hope they haven't overpromised on things.
There's a lot of hype building around Cyberpunk. I mean, I am massively behind. I mean, I grew up playing Cyberpunk 2020, the role-playing game that it's based on. I mean, that was my game back in the 90s, but I've spoken to the guys at CD Projekt Red a couple of times. I've interviewed Mike Pondsmith a couple of times. Everything I've seen, everything I'm hearing, is that this is going to be the game that I've been playing in my head for the past 30 years. And I just can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is coming up to the end of this generation, there is a hell of a lot of big games that are still going to obviously have an impact. And then, going into the next generation, a lot of these are going to cross over. And one game in particular, I think that got me probably quite excited when I saw it. Crash Bandicoot 4 is coming out in October, and it's great because it's done like what a lot of films seem to do now. It's discarded all the really shit sequels. It's gone, no, this is now placed here. Oh, what about all the PlayStation 2 titles? Nope, it's placed here. We're not counting them ones because they were crap. And there's even a little bit in the trailer when like one of the masks are talking to Crash and Coco. He goes, "How many times have you defeated Cortex?" And they go, 3. What? Only 3? I'm sure it was. I thought it was more. It was like it's a great little bit of like self-referencing, but
that's happening more. That's happening more and more now. I mean,
Terminator, I think, is still the best example.
Neil Blomkamp's Aliens film was going to be a direct sequel to Alien, the 1986 film. It just completely discounted Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, and all the Alien versus Predator films because let's put them aside and focus on a direct sequel to Aliens. Well, yeah, that's the way things are going now.
That's what you need.
It annoys me when people discount Alien 3, because Alien 3 was really good. I enjoyed Alien 3. I just sort of...
It was a good science fiction film. I don't think it was a good Aliens film, because
I think the story behind it is even better than the actual film itself.
Yeah.
Apparently there was more. Apparently there was more to it. In the my Dave Foy, he used to do podcasts. He's off these days doing other things, but he sent me a sort of for a DVD collection and stuff, and apparently there's extra sort of commentary, and they're talking about how it was going to be different. There was a lot more to it and stuff, but it got sort of changed, budget cuts and things like that. As a film, though, I still quite enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. Because one of my favourite things about Alien 3 was apparently the planet that Ripley lands on was originally going to be a ship planet, which was going to be pretty much made of wood.
Yes,
and it was going to be inhabited by monks.
And do you know who came up with that idea?
No.
William Gibson.
Ah, right, okay.
And I mean, if you had William Gibson writing an Alien script, that is just match made. I mean, William Gibson is an absolute genius. He invented cyberpunk, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, he invented cyberspace. And I mean, to have a writer of that caliber writing a script for Aliens, that is just brilliant. Yeah. I would love to see the script that he came up with, the original.
I think, and I think what's really paving the way at the moment, I know we spoke about it a few times, but this whole thing there next year where we've got the technically the Snyder cut of Justice League, I reckon if that is popular and that's successful, I think we're going to get a lot of this. We're going to get a lot of films that are like they're going to go back and tweak them. And I know some of them it's going to be a bit more difficult. You couldn't really, add scenes onto Alien 3 and re-release that now because that's way too much of time that's gone by. But I reckon like some recent films where people have gone, well, it kind of missed the mark here and here. Could you imagine now a future where someone goes, "Do you know what? Give us a bit of money. We will actually remake the film, or we'll change what we think should be done to it, or we will do the cut that we was intending to make." And I think, this could go one of two ways. It could be a great thing for cinema going forward, but then it could also make people think, well, hang on, if I'm reading a review and this film's shit, but the likelihood is they might now remake it in a few years, or they might, change it a few years. What's the point of going and seeing it in the cinema when I can just wait for it to come on HBO or come on Netflix?
And also, to be fair, I mean, I've watched the film once. Why do I want to watch it again? I mean, like small edits, what's the point? Aliens, the director's cut, does make substantial additions.
Yeah,
it doesn't change the story. It just adds more to it. Is it necessary? You could argue that. I mean, I've spoken to some people behind it. Like from a setting and character piece, it adds more context to this whole story because you learn that Newt's parents were the ones that found the aliens' eggs and all that. But from a pacing element, the original is much better paced.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen? Have you seen Apocalypse Now Redux?
Yes.
I didn't like Apocalypse Now.
Oh man,
Apocalypse Now Redux is so good.
Yeah, but it's weird because it's completely it changes the tone of Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse Now, which is quite stressful and dark and broody, it's different because in Redux it's like there's a lot of comical value to it, going to that village, all the Playboy girls and things, and it's just
there was a lot of improvisation in the film, and I think it was like, wasn't it, like 14-month filming schedule because there was so many incidents. Marlon Brando used to apparently piss about all the time. And then there was things
very
like
touchy about his weight. Apparently, very touchy.
Sets got destroyed. Yeah. But that was the thing. They dressed him in black because he refused to, get into shape. And I think when the filming went on for like 5 or 6 months, he was apparently shipping in like McDonald's into the location. He was actually saying like to his agent, can you fly me in like 100 Big Macs? Just have them in like set containers, and I'll have them when I want them. And it's like, what the fuck? And it was the point. I think they said he went from like a 42 waist up to like a 58 waist within a matter of weeks. And they're like, oh shit, what do we do now? And it's like the guys are going, yeah, we've got some black shirts. They'll fit on him. They'll be fine.
I think they called it Apocalypse Never because it kept on getting delayed and stuff, so much and stuff. But yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne was 14 at the start of filming. He was 16 when they finished it.
That's right. Yeah, he's called. Thing is, his name. He's under a different name in the film, isn't he? He's called something else.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if originally that's his original name, or he changed it, Lawrence Fishburne, or Lawrence Fishburne was his name and he thought he changed it to have a.
Yeah, because he lied because obviously he was 14 when he auditioned, but he said he was 18. So then when he went off for filming, obviously he dropped out of school. He basically said to his parents, "You know, I'm going to make this movie." And I don't know if it was true or not, but someone said that he apparently there was like when they put the ads on the carton of milk to say, oh, have you seen this person? They've gone missing. Because where the filming went on for so long, they thought he had been abducted. So they were literally putting like all these notices out to go, have you seen our son? Could you imagine? Can you imagine the stories you would have got from being on that set? For over a year, you're literally like living in this jungle. You're making this film that, like you say, might not have even been made. They thought it was never going to be complete because of all these problems, all these issues. And I'd love to see if there was like more behind the scenes footage of it, if they could actually show like, just how everyone was during the making of that movie.
Yeah. But I think I love the podcast. I like war films in general. I love them. Old school ones as well. I was sort of going through what was I was watching. I was watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I was kind of getting a bit nostalgic about old school cowboy films because my dad was into like all the old school like Hang 'em High, Fistful of Dollars, $5 More. All of them, Rooster Cogburn. What's it called? True Grit. Sorry, the original one. And things like that. And then you had all the old school war movies like The Longest Day, Battle of the Bulge. Just so many. Bridge Too Far. And I grew up on that stuff, and like watching that gave me a bit of a sort of bit of a nostalgia trip, and I was like, I'm going to try and find as many as I can and just have a big session of old school sort of John Wayne and cowboy films and old school war movies and go for it because it just nostalgia, pure nostalgia.
Yeah. I think when you see a film like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or even like a lot of these films that are set around like the golden age of Hollywood, you do see, I don't know, you do feel almost like a fondness, and you feel like you want to kind of relive that bit. You want to see how people saw films at that time. But then I kind of think if you go forward 30, 40 years in the future, I'd like to think that some people probably look back at like this kind of era. Because I reckon
no one could do that for 2020.
No, obviously not 2020. No, fuck that.
Well, I don't know. Kanye West could be president. Kanye West could be the next president.
No. But if you look back, if you look back like 40, 50 years, what's the genre that everyone remembers but you don't see now? It's the spaghetti western. The western films were obviously the big thing. What have we got now? We've got the superhero genre, which is now the big thing. And I reckon in 30, 40 years, it will still be there, but it won't be anywhere near as prolific as we got now. And can you imagine people looking back at the cinema? They go, yes, we've got classic film nights tonight. Yes, we've got the Avengers, we've got the Dark Knight. And can you imagine that, you're sitting there in your 70s, you're like, oh, I remember when this was in cinema, I was a young lad.
I wonder if they'll look dated.
I wonder if they'll be dated. I'm 45 now, and I lived through the 80s. I have no nostalgia for that time. That was 30 years ago. I have no nostalgia for it whatsoever. The one thing I like about the 80s is that it's progressively getting further away. I lived through the decay.
I was going to say, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the film's a bit strange because not a lot really happens. It sort of gears you up towards the sort of Manson, the murders. Yeah. But spoiler alert, if anybody's not watched it, they don't go ahead with the murders that happened in history. So, what's the name of the actress?
Margot Robbie.
Who Margot Robbie plays. Yeah. Catherine Tate. Catherine Tate.
Yes.
Catherine Tate. She obviously gets murdered. Is it Catherine Tate?
Catherine Tate's the comedian.
So something Tate. What's her first name?
I'll look it up.
You're gonna have to look it up. Yeah, something Tate. I'm pretty sure it's Tate. But obviously, like Inglourious Bastards, where they kill Hitler. And
Do you know, Inglourious Bastards, I think, is still my favourite Quentin Tarantino film.
It's a good film, but it's the fact that in this one, the murders don't happen.
Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate, that's it, yes. Yeah, Sharon Tate. Sorry, Catherine Tate, yeah. But yeah, so what happens is it basically builds up to sort of the whole sort of it's Leonardo DiCaprio sort of character who is like an old school cowboy who's sort of a bit sort of older now, and he's not getting the parts he wants, and he's panicking because he thinks his career is going to be over. And then Brad Pitt is his stunt double, and you know, he's just a bit of a pisshead he was a Green Beret, and he may or may not have killed his wife and stuff. And the whole thing, it builds up to the whole sort of like, you know, his career, but it's to the background of this Sharon Tate's obviously murder, and her friends being murdered by the Manson family. And it gets to the very end, and instead of going to her house, they go into Leonardo DiCaprio's house because he gives them grief. And so they go in and they try to murder him, but Brad Pitt and his dog kill a bunch of them. And then Leonardo DiCaprio sets fire to the last one. And it's just so over the top. And then at the end, they just go in, and Sharon Tate, Margot Robbie, sort of says, you come in, have some drinks. And that's it. So it's changing history again.
I was going to say, do you remember Django Unchained?
Yes.
Because I think that has still got one of the wildest endings I've ever seen in a film, where you literally just have Django going on a shootout throughout the Candy household, and he's literally just he's got the shotgun, he's just blowing people away. Yeah. And then do you know? And this is the thing, I like that Tarantino, he's not afraid to mess up a little bit of history. He's not afraid to, take things and twist it a bit, and I think it's not in a it's not in the piss take way.
No, but
I think he tries to give his own spin.
But I think
it's like it's historical fantasy in a sense.
Yeah,
it's like alternative history.
It is alternative history.
Reimagining it, like, just for the purposes of the story. And I think if you keep trying to get too beholden to be historically accurate, when you are making a work of fiction, then you kind of start to get yourself in a bit of a bind. You have to be respectful, but not necessarily be beholden to history. And also, you have to be open and honest about, yes, this is what happened in reality. We are telling this different story.
See, and this is what gets me slightly, because Bruce Lee's daughter, is it Sarah Lee? Is it Sarah Lee? Again, apologies if I got the name wrong, but his daughter was unimpressed with how they portrayed Bruce Lee, who appears in the film 3 times. It's one where he's basically saying he could beat Muhammad Ali, I think, in a fight, and then he's being a bit cocky, and then he has a fight with Brad Pitt's character, and it's basically effectively a draw and stuff, but he's a bit cocky, and his daughter didn't like that portrayal and stuff, because he said he would have never done that, and it's just like, I understand that is true, but again, the Manson family killed Sharon Tate and a bunch of people, and that didn't happen. Leonardo DiCaprio's character set fire to them, so it's not really sort of real in a way.
This isn't the first time it happened. I mean, what's it? The film Hero, starring Jet Li.
Yeah,
that got into a lot of grief with the family of the person it was about, because it was not a fair representation of the person. So yeah, I mean, you have to, when you're including a person from history who is respected, you do have to be tread very carefully in how you represent that person. And to be fair, Bruce Lee has got a lot of I suppose
not the greatest representation when you look at some of the works. But you say about Hero, I think Hero is possibly Jet Li's best film. And the thing is when I first watched it, I didn't realize it was actually based on real events. I didn't realize it at first.
It's loosely based on.
I know it's loosely
very
based.
loosely. I mean, my favorite Jet Li film is Once Upon a Time in China, because that is a historical drama with kung fu, but it's primarily a historical drama about the British involvement in China.
Is the Opium Wars and things like that?
East Indian Trading Company and all that.
Yeah.
And basically the rampant slavery.
Yeah.
That the British Empire, basically like pays money come to England and America, and like we all wear glasses because the roads are paved with gold.
Yeah.
And it's like really is actually damning indictment against foreign like.
I don't think there's ever been a good empire if you think about that back on it and stuff. It's just like you sort of think about Rome and you think, and they gave us roads and they gave us aqueducts and they did this, but it's like, they enslaved pretty much, and they did some really horrible shit. But it's just like, I think when you're closer to history, it's more poignant. Whereas you can look, when if you were to say, to so your average sort of a left-leaning sort of liberal type like myself or yourself, about Rome, you don't really have much. You don't think much about it because that was thousands of years ago, 1,500 years ago, and it's fine they did this, but that's ancient history and stuff. Whereas 200, 300 years ago is a bit closer to home and therefore a bit more sort of.
But could you imagine if someone did go off about like the Romans go, you might say they gave us roads, but what about the slavery? Damn it! When you're mentioning the slavery, you're biased.
Well, that's a completely other kettle of fish and stuff. When it comes into sort of statues and things like that. So.
Saying about that, we haven't really had like a real historical epic, like in terms of like going back thousands of years. We haven't really had anything like that for a good long time. Well, not a decent one anyway. There's the Exodus one a little while ago, and that was bloody awful.
Oh, is that based on the Bible, the Bible? Exodus?
It's supposed to be a little bit, but then it kind of just goes a little bit crazy. I think it was a Ridley Scott film, wasn't it? And he just like, Ridley Scott, I think, just doesn't care now. He just gets given a film and he goes, I'll just piss about for a 3 or 4 months filming this, and something will come out. And that's obviously what he done with Alien Covenant.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, do you know, I've stopped what could possibly be the greatest Alien sequel that has ever been. I've just stopped Neil Blomkamp. So what am I going to do now? Oh shit! I've now got to actually make a film. Oh, I don't know how to do an Alien film now because I haven't made one for nearly 40 fucking years. But I'll try my best.
I think what's his name? Tom Hanks has got another World War II film coming out on Apple and stuff. But it's that standard sort of Americanized history. And I as a student of history, I fully appreciate that without the Americans, there was very little chance good old Blighty could have sort of carried on with the war. Very, very much, you could also argue if it wasn't for the Russians, then we wouldn't have won the war at all. Yeah. But it's one of those things. It was a team effort, but it annoys me that American film. And that was slightly changed with Dunkirk and with sort of
1917,
where they sort of made it. There were other combatants in these wars. There were other people. Who were fighting. Seen
1917, it's not so much that it glamorizes the British Army. It doesn't really make us like we're the perfect people. It actually shows the struggle. It shows the efforts that were going, and it's just following these two soldiers throughout this whole film and. Just the tracking shots, just how well, because it's filmed like it's in one take. And I remember watching it, and I kind of did the same when the Birdman film came out. I'm trying to looking for the cuts. I'm looking for where it tries to blend from one to the other. It's obviously trying to keep it as seamless as possible. But overall, it's a damn good movie, and it's one
I've still not seen it, and I feel ashamed that I haven't seen it. But yeah,
it's only come out in the last year. You're not that far behind.
But
it's
have you seen Black Hawk Down?
Oh yeah, love Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a really good examination of the Battle of Britain, and more importantly, what went wrong. And I mean, when you watch it, you see exactly why the fuck-ups are occurring, which is basically there's so many links in the communication chain between the orders being given and they've been relayed through multiple points that by the time the troops are actually, given the orders, they're a block or two past where they were supposed to turn.
Yeah, there's loads of cameos in that film. Loads of cameos in that film.
Yeah, I heard a I heard a lovely little story about the making of the film. It's like when the actors were like stationed on site on the training on a military base, and like they're going through basic training, basically get themselves trained up for this and also learn like military procedure. They received a letter through the door saying, please respect us, and it was signed by every person that had died in the Battle of Mogadishu.
All right. Okay. Well, yeah.
And I thought that was really lovely sentiment.
Yeah, there was a lot of you see at the end, and it's like American casualties like 104 or something along those lines. I know Somali casualties 3,000, and it's just like, yeah, wow, that's pretty insane. But yeah, I do like a good war film. The sniper, one of the snipers.
I was just about to say American Sniper. That actually was quite good, because that is a film as well that doesn't show and doesn't really glamorize the American army. It does show that mistakes are made.
I know, but American Sniper, there is
one of the most cringiest moments in cinema history, though, in that movie.
What's that?
That basically when he's holding the baby, and you can see it's a real fake plastic baby, and it does really put you off on that screen, especially when I watched it in the cinema. And like I was going to my mate, I said, does that look like it's actually like fake? Does that look real? And you could see as well, like you could just see it's just like the shitty like Fisher Price baby. It's just like he's holding, and oh my god, I kind of lost it at that point. I was just like, I was so engaged until that point, and I'm like, yeah.
There's a lot of difference between the book and that, and he as a character is quite divisive in that, he is seen as an American hero, but there's a lot of people. I don't know enough about him to sort of make a comment on it, but
because he had the most assassinations in the American army at one point. He was like their top guy when it came to taking down targets. But yeah, but it was more. Can you imagine the mental toll? That must have. I know, obviously, there's documents in his book. Obviously, you see the film. There is a couple of documentaries about it. But could you imagine what must have been going through that guy's mind?
I know, but this is what I'm trying to explain. I'm just going to say that he, as a person, isn't portrayed. How he is in the film and how he was in reality apparently are two different things. Now, there's a lot of arguments over this. But people do say that he was. He kind of enjoyed killing people, and that maybe he was possibly racist. Again, this is all other, and I don't know enough, so I'm not on either side. I've seen part of the film. I've not read the book. I've just read things about it. So it's just like there's sort of views, and it does seem like he as a character is quite divisive, and the fact that he's dead and is deemed by a lot, especially people in the military, as a sort of a hero. They're very much a case of, I don't want to hear anything bad about him. And that film is getting to the point where, who directed the film?
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. That was it. So he went to his dad's house, and his dad basically said, if you sully my son's name, I'll kill you. And basically sort of, so it had to be done in a certain way, and it doesn't take sort of an effect.
Can you imagine someone threatening Clint Eastwood? Yeah, you'll kill you. He goes, you feeling lucky, punk? Yeah.
But I was before that, in Black Hawk Down, the sniper, one of the two snipers in Black Hawk Down who were sort of like on the Black Hawk. One of them is the guy who I can't remember the guy who plays Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones.
Oh, Nicholas Costa-Waldau.
Yeah, and it's also got one of the guys in it is the Modern Family, the husband in Modern Family. What's his name?
Ty Simpkins.
Yes, that's it. Oh, you're really good with your names, man.
Yeah, this is what you get from like the last 4 fucking years doing a pub quiz. You learn all this stuff that you'd never normally know, and then it's only like chats like this it becomes handy.
Yeah, and he's in it and stuff. Like he's got like he's like talking about he's a medic, I think, and he's talking about margaritas and things. So it's just like loads of little sort of cameos and stuff. And I love like Orlando Bloom's in it, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's got what's the guy called who played the captain in Discovery before? It
Oh,
changed.
Jason
Jason
Isaacs.
Isaac.
Jason Isaacs, that's it. I'm fucking
Yeah.
shit with names, but yeah, he's in it, and then it's got Ewan McGregor's in it, isn't it? The guy who played
Yeah.
Hornblower was in Titanic and played Mr. Mar. Oh, what? Who's this? Fuck. Fantastic Four. Mr. Fantastic. Mr.
Ian
Fantastic.
Grufford.
Yeah.
It's got Tom Sizemore in it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well.
I loved his character actually when there was they're going around this block again for the third time, and he's just leaning against like going fuck.
And it's got what's his name? Oh my god, my fucking names are fucking they're like literally shit.
This could be such a great little quiz. Yeah, who's this person?
Man, so don't ask me for names. I'm good with faces. I'm horrible with names. Played Bane. Fuck me.
Tom
Hardy. Yeah, Tom Hardy. He's in it as well. Tom Hardy's actually, I think he's in Band of Brothers too. Possibly.
He is.
Yeah,
he is in Band of Brothers. Yeah, even that's another one as well. Band of Brothers is just like a who's who of that time as well.
Yeah. There's loads of little cameos in it. I'm rewatching Friends at the minute, and Schwimmer's in it, isn't he? He's Lieutenant Sobel, I think, isn't it? That's his name.
I find that really weird when I was watching that because I've never really been a fan of Friends, but I remember when he was in Band of Brothers, and I was like, hang on, this guy is supposed to be playing a dramatic role. He was actually quite good in it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah. I've been
Actually, I was watching Hidden Figures, and that's got the actor who plays Sheldon in it.
Yes, Jim Parsons. He
Jim
does
Jarmusch.
do a lot of serious acting roles. And
Yeah, but it was really weird. His character was a lot like Sheldon, to be honest. And like, so I get the impression that he's been typecast a bit in that sense. But yeah, it was quite serviceable, for want of a better term, in that.
I think
Actually,
that's the thing. After 12 years of being on Big Bang Theory, I think a lot of them actors are going to find it really difficult to take away that persona. He also doesn't. There was a show on Netflix from a few months ago called Hollywood. He was in new Ryan Murphy show. He's actually really good in that. I thought he was fantastic.
I'm wearing my Bazinga t-shirt. Bazinga.
Hey, there we go.
And I like Big Bang Theory. I know a lot of people don't. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I watched every episode over the past 10 years, and yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's not like insightful. It's not like incredibly deep. It's in a way, it's comfort food. That's the thing. It's so you can switch your brain off to have a laugh, enjoy it.
But then that's kind of what 2.5 Men was as well. That was a show that was never meant to be intelligent. It wasn't meant to really have substance. It was just a dumb half an hour a week. And even with Charlie Sheen is just probably one of the most self-destructive people ever.
Yeah.
But he's fun, and I never really liked anything like he'd done apart from. I mean, I liked a few of his films, but I wasn't the biggest fan of his. But 2.5 Men, I just thought he was fantastic all the way through. And then, speaking about war films, he was in one of the only films I actually did enjoy of his. That was Platoon.
Oh, Platoon! What a film!
That was good.
That is so good. Love Platoon. Charlie Sheen. He went from doing serious stuff, and then he just kind of fell into comedy. It was like Hot Shots, and then it was pretty much comedy roles.
Hot Shots. I love that film. I mean, I know people crap on it, but I just think it's Platoon. Really. I love parodies. I love the ridiculous nature of them.
Some parodies can be good, like the Naked Gun trilogy. I think really does.
That doesn't work for me. But when they're deliberately parodying like a genre of films, so you got like what we call Hot Shots and Loaded Weapon. I just love those.
Loaded Weapon. That's a callback.
And yeah, I mean, I just love you got Bruce Willis in it, where kind of they're blowing up this trailer, and you go, "Hey, is this 215 South Beach View?" He goes, "No, this is 219, 4 miles down the beach." Like, oh, sorry. No problem.
This week, I was gonna say this week I have been flicking back through some old Blu-rays because with everything still going on, not going out that much, so kind of just like to revisit a film or two. And on Wednesday night I did rewatch Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Still, probably one of my favorite films, just because when you look at the actors in it as well, you think a lot of these people weren't really that well known when they were first in this movie, and now a lot of them are A-listers. You got Academy Award winners in this list as well, and as well, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is probably one of my favorite movies. It's just such a great comedy all the way through, and just the action. It's unlike any movie I think that's ever been made. And Edgar Wright, I think it was too good for its time. It's one of the movies that obviously didn't do well in the box office. It really suffered in terms of promotion because I don't think anyone knew how to sell this movie, because it effectively was like a living video game. But it was like, it was very casual. It was very like not like, it was a little bit immature on the humor side, and when you look at the actors, there wasn't a lot of leading names in it, so it really did suffer on that side. But to me, I don't think you could have made a better movie. And even 10 years after, it hasn't aged a day to me. I still think it's just such a great experience, especially when you see Chris Evans in it, and he's playing Lucas Lee, this really cool like action star. It's just, he must have just thought, this is pretty much my Captain America audition. I'm just gonna beef it up a bit. I'm just gonna be the smug guy, and you see that film as well has just got so many little Easter eggs that you have to watch a few times over to start getting them. And one of my favorite is the scene when you do see Chris Evans' character, and he talks about his stuntmen. He goes, these guys are the real heroes. These are my guys. They're actually his real stuntmen that have been throughout his whole career. It's just like one of them little things. It's like, that's a very useless bit of knowledge.
What's
it's like,
the Chris Evans film? And it's got the guy who plays Negan again. Names.
Oh, the Losers.
Yes, that's it. The Losers.
So
The film,
just
the bit where he's
stand there with a finger gun.
Yeah, the finger guns and the sniper. Yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
Oh, that is such a good movie. Idris Elba. I keep forgetting Idris Elba's in that movie as well.
Oh shit, who's he in?
Yeah.
Oh right, shit, yeah, he is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love that going back to films and you're all like, holy shit, that's this guy or that's
You
that
do
guy.
forget.
Yeah.
You do forget a lot of these things. Like was it as well? Because I still find it hard to tell people as well, like who've seen Captain America, and you like you say about Chris Evans, you do realize this guy was the Human Torch in like the 2000s Fantastic Four movies, and people go, no, it wasn't. I mean, no, look him up. I said, you see that just 4 years before playing Captain America, he was the Human Torch. And probably one of the only good things really about that film series, or well, 2-part film series, if you really gonna call it that.
Yeah. Never been a massive fan of the Fantastic Four films. That being said, I was never a massive fan of the Spider-Man films until the new ones and stuff.
Yeah,
It was,
they are really good.
I really like the Sam Raimi trilogy. I think that I even like Spider-Man 3. I actually did quite enjoy. But yeah, I think Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, they have shown that Spider-Man does need to have that connected universe to really fit in. He doesn't need to be the biggest superhero. He doesn't need to be the headliner all the time. He can be the little guy that's basically like almost forgotten. And I think that's one of the appeals.
I like the fact that he is fallible and he makes mistakes and he's young and he does stuff that a kid would do, and it's just I like that part of him. I think that's
I like the bit when I think it was in Avengers where when he goes to Doctor Strange. I'm Peter Parker. What's your name? Goes, oh, I'm Strange. Like, we're doing superheroes. Oh, I'm Spider-Man. It's just a really little piece, but it spoke volumes of their respective characters.
Yeah, I think with Spider-Man, I think there's been such a massive progression with the character, and the thing is I think if you were to say like 5 years ago after the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man films, I would have gone, Joe, what? You don't need to see this guy again now. You don't need to see Spider-Man for a long time. Just there's been too much Spider-Man. They don't know how to do him right. Let's just leave him out for a while. And it's literally 2 months later. Yeah, he's coming into the MCU. Oh, okay, this could work well. And it probably has been one of the best gambles because it's been, people wanted Spider-Man in the MCU for quite a long time. There was talk about originally they were going to try and get Tobey Maguire into, I think it was going to be a cameo in The Incredible Hulk, and then that turned into a cameo with Tony Stark instead. And then they were saying about, oh, the first Avengers film might end with a little tease with the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. They might try and incorporate him into it, and then obviously that never happened.
No, I didn't realize that Hulk film, that Incredible Hulk film, is a part of the saga. Isn't that it? Sort of
very loose.
The thing is, when they first made them, it wasn't supposed to be, but because originally when Marvel Studios started their own thing, they wanted these two to be almost separate, and I think it was a little deal that they had. And they went, well, Paramount are funding us, and they want us to have a little link. They want us just to have like a little fun cameo one side or the other. So that was how they eventually got obviously Tony Stark. They got Robert Downey Jr., who at the time, obviously, his paycheck was so low, he literally just went, I'm happy to go on the set for a couple of days. I'll do it. And the only actual actor that has followed on from the Incredible Hulk is William Hurt playing General Ross.
Yes, you're right.
And it's weird, but he actually was one of my favorite characters in the Incredible Hulk, because I think he just had such a great demeanor about him. He was a great. He wasn't so much a full villain, but he was basically, as good as a bad guy. Yeah. And I think when they said he was coming back for the MCU, they were bringing him back for Civil War, I got quite excited, because I was like, I don't think there was really any other character apart from General Ross I thought I really wanted to see again, because Betty Ross was quite a bit of a waste. The Abomination, well, basically in the title, he was. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tim Roth is a great actor, but that Abomination was just awful. They just really just shit the bed really on that. And they even teased the leader, and they never followed it up. 12 years later, we never actually got the leader, and I think that would have been the perfect way to have got another Hulk film. But the film obviously didn't make enough for them to do a second
I'm
Hulk.
surprised they didn't do. They haven't done with Mark Ruffalo being quite popular. I'm surprised they haven't done
it's
one.
It's the rights to it, because apparently Paramount still hold a certain degree over having a Hulk solo movie. And the thing is, you think Disney would just go, well, we'll buy it off you. But then that's why they kind of went, well, we're going to incorporate the Hulk a little bit into Iron Man 3, because he was in the end of that. They put him in Thor Ragnarok, and then obviously through the Avengers movie. So he's always been there. And then with the She-Hulk film, She-Hulk series that's coming out next year or whenever, he's going to be part of that as well. So he's kind of like a Nick Fury kind of character, because you'll never get a Nick Fury solo film, but he is scattered throughout this world, and I think that's not a bad thing with the Hulk, because he is a great character. But then you got to ask yourself, could you really see the Hulk leading his own film again? And part of me just thinks he couldn't.
Yeah, it's inherently one-dimensional. If you're going to have a Hulk film, you have to make it focus on Banner and not Hulk, because Hulk is just going to be smash, and there's no kind of character, there's no kind of development, because his reaction to anything is going to be smash, whilst Banner must have a much more kind of love-hate relationship with the Incredible Hulk.
Obviously, are they going to take the smart Hulk going forward after Endgame? Obviously, we've now got the combination of Banner and Hulk, and even at the end of the film,
find out what happened when saw like the Grey Hulk, the Smart Hulk, pop up in Endgame? Is well, what happened to you? How did this happen? Well, I thought that was really badly handled. I never kind of saw a explanation for that.
Well, the original plan was at the end of Infinity War, it was going to be that the Hulk does re-emerge, and he was going to bust out of the Hulkbuster armor, but it was going to be literally the combination of Hulk and Banner. It was going to be like the two working in unison. But then Russo brothers held that back, and they went, well, actually, no, we won't do that yet. We want to hold that off for the next film, because then we can progress on that a little bit more. So that was sort of like a last-minute rewrite. And even in one of the trailers for Infinity War, you do see the Hulk literally running with the whole army in Wakanda. So obviously that didn't happen in the film itself. Yeah. But I think, I don't know, I kind of feel a bit half and half on that, because I'd have liked to have seen obviously Smart Hulk emerge at that point, because it would have been a great little bit of story. But then at the same time, I kind of like the idea that he was held back, and then it was just like, even though Banner hasn't got the Hulk by his side, he's still trying to fight. He's still trying to obviously keep his Avenger status, even in the Hulkbuster armor. And I think that was actually handled quite well. But then I do see the missed opportunity as well. And it's really weird. I think the Hulk has just been a very complicated character for the MCU. Same as Spider-Man, really, because obviously when they got told we've got Spider-Man, they shifted everything. The whole film slate got pushed back about 5 months because they wanted to do a Spider-Man movie. They've then obviously messed it about a little bit more because they want to keep Spider-Man. And it's just incredible, how a character can affect this franchise. And I think they are still a little bit on the fly with a lot of these characters, how they're going to handle them, especially now going into Phase 4. Because at the moment, we don't know what we're really going to get. We know we've got Black Widow, which is going to be set a few years in the past, so it's not really going to have a main thing on the storyline. You've got the Eternals, which is supposed to be set thousands of years in the past, so it's not going to have a lot of interaction. So it's not going to be until probably Doctor Strange or even the next Spider-Man film, we're actually going to go back into the present day and progress the story. And even then, God knows what the MCU is going to look like.
This is where DC need to capitalize on things. They have this time where there is a period of nothingness when it comes to sort of basically superhero films that they could maybe sort of kind of build upon and stuff. And I don't know, maybe they are with this sort of HBO Schneider cut, and obviously with Ben Affleck signing on as Batman, which I think is a great idea.
Do you think it's a bit weird though? In the space of about 12 months, we're going to have a Ben Affleck Batman again. We're going to have a Robert Pattinson Batman, and then apparently we're going to have a Michael Keaton Batman. It's going to be just strange, and the casual moviegoer is going to be going,
"It's into the
what
Batman
the hell's going on?"
Yeah, well, it's
into the Batman verse.
I'd love to see that.
I would like to see the Michael Keaton Batman being based on Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah,
because he is approximately the right age for that for the character.
Yeah, I think they should have done that originally when they done Batman v Superman. Because the original plan of that, they were actually trying to get Christian Bale to play Batman again. But, it would have been a massive change. It would have been a huge redo of it all.
I've said it a million times. Ben Affleck's an amazing Batman. I think, I actually prefer him over Christian Bale. I thought he was really good. He got completely dogged for it. And the film didn't maybe didn't do his character justice, but I think him in his own Batman film would have been really good, and it's a shame he's not going to do it.
But this is where I think the DCEU is just going very weird now, because originally they were trying to strive for what the MCU had. They were trying to keep one connected universe, and in some ways they still are, because technically Shazam is still following on from DCEU. You've got Birds of Prey, which is still carrying on. Wonder Woman, which is, it's set before like the main storylines, but it's still part of it. But then we had the Joker film, which, don't get me wrong, Joker film was fantastic, had nothing to do with the DCEU. You've got the Batman film coming out next year, which obviously has really nothing to do with what's already come before it. But then you've got Suicide Squad next year, which is technically a sequel to the first Suicide Squad, which is a bit weird how they've titled it. But anyway, I think DC are really, I think they're looking at doing this idea of having a connected universe, but they still want to do one-off films as well. I think they want to do like these character pieces, which they are going to have a different side to them, which
I think they've also testing the water to see which characters gets the most audience reaction, and then kind of build it from there. Yeah, which is a bit cautious. I mean, in many ways, the Iron Man back in 2008 was a bit of a gamble for them. Like, let's see what people think of this, and then suddenly.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you imagine who signed off on that? They went, the X-Men done really well, Spider-Man done really well. Which one of our Marvel characters should we now use?
Yeah, and
we've done the Hulk a couple of times,
yeah,
but
the Iron Man at the time was
it's a very niche character still, wasn't it?
Niche, yeah.
It was a B grade hero. That was the thing, because they used to say, like, the A grade for Marvel was always Spider-Man and the X-Men. That was pretty much it. And then B grade you went to and Hulk, sorry, was still technically A grade. And then B grade you had Iron Man, you had Captain America, you had Thor. It was literally and you had all these characters where they were just like, we've now got these characters back because a film was never made of them. Let's now try something. And can you imagine though that the guy, like, when they first put this all together and they went, we're gonna when Kevin Feige said, "Yeah, we're going to make this film series. You know, we're going to base it off of a character who has had 40 odd years of comic book history, but has never been a leading man in film. They've never actually given this guy a full live action movie." And the idea that when they were casting this, can you imagine when they went, "Yeah, do you think we should get Robert Downey Jr.?" And they went, "Are you joking? And do you really want to get him on this movie?" Can you imagine the arguments? And even Jon Favreau even said that they had to really fight against Paramount and Marvel to get him cast, even resulting in him only getting paid like about 10% of what Terrence Howard got paid to be in the film. And that's insane.
It was what did Jon Favreau, does he know Robert Downey Jr. sort of personally? Was it sort of
I think he kind of knew him a little bit, because I think they had done certain projects before they'd helped out on certain things. But
for me, Jon Favreau, he's just Mikey and Swingers to me. Every time I see him, I just think Mikey and Swingers.
Oh, I actually quite like him as an actor. He does do some good parts, even in the Daredevil movie, because he plays Foggy Nelson in that, and I think he's quite good in it. He's actually quite a good laugh. But I think, and that's another thing as well, you got to look at it. If not for Favreau, because he actually did have a good vision for Iron Man, he managed to make an Iron Man that was slightly unbelievable, but was still quite grounded in reality.
It was very rooted. I mean, I heard quite a few tech companies saying, "Yeah, we're working on stuff like that anyway." So I mean, if you look at the Iron Man armor in the future films, you see it becomes much more futuristic, mostly because he wants the armor to remain that kind of like bleeding edge, so it doesn't age as well.
But even when this whole MCU idea, even when they made the Incredible Hulk, that first shot when you see him sitting in the chair and he's obviously trying to cure himself of the gamma radiation, it looks so realistic because it looks very bog standard, and all of a sudden you just see him starting to emerge in his Hulk persona. And the effects, even for that time, for 2008, they still haven't aged that badly. It does still hold up relatively well. And then it was perfect because you had one film that was very grounded in reality. It wasn't anything, all right, it was a guy in a flying metal suit, but it wasn't anything too over the top crazy. And then the end of Iron Man 2, they literally just leave Thor's hammer sitting in the middle of the desert. They go, "Yep, this is our film next year."
Well, I was at a talk by the Institute of Mechanical Engineers about the science of Iron Man. And that was really telling. I mean, let's be honest, we have people in flying suits.
Yeah.
A guy has flown across the channel in his own, like suit.
Yeah, I've got him on my TikTok actually. See him flying around.
Yeah, we've also got like lasers. Warships are being deployed with laser weaponry to target incoming missiles. We have heads-up system is being we've had that for decades, and the repulsor systems are not unlike iron jars, which have been used in satellites now.
Can you imagine it? If going forward, when people look back at Star Trek, used to have the whole wristwatch communicators, used to have automatic doors. Now that's a reality in our everyday thing. Yeah. Imagine if so many years in the future, you have got people that have got their own flying suits. You have got people that can take a drug and all of a sudden they become like this massive behemoth, who can outrun anyone, can power lift all day and night. And maybe one day we might get someone that gets a magic hammer.
I mean, to be honest, science fiction does inspire scientists and engineers. There is a story that when Stephen Hawking was being shown around the sets of Star Trek, he looked he showed him past the warp car, and he started tapping on his keyboard. So everyone just kind of stopped and politely waited for him to speak, and he said, "Working on that." Now, many years later, he wrote, "Yeah, it doesn't work," but it inspires. I mean, that's what science fiction should do. It should inspire. And I mean, my little boy, he loves Iron Man. He wants to make his own Iron Man armor. And go right ahead. Go right ahead. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, if it inspires the children to learn engineering, to learn physics, to learn mathematics, is that a bad thing? And I say no.
No.
I think with the MCU as well, when you look at the technology, like saying, if you go back to the first Iron Man movie, you get the odd little references, don't you? Like, you get them like taking selfies on an iPhone. They're boarding like a commercial jet. He's even like he's like playing about. He's actually pressing the button on the stereo to get it to play. It's very grounded. And then obviously as it's gone on, he's got the phone where it's pretty much all crystal clear apart from the odd few buttons. He's got a jet that can go halfway around the world in a matter of minutes. They're going into space. He can fly suit into another dimension. But it was a nice gradual progression. It wasn't just like the first film was like, we can do all this incredible stuff straight away. He had some great technology, but it wasn't technology that was beyond the means of what we could have had, say, today. But as the time went on, it has changed. Even like, when you look at certain characters like Black Panther, Black Panther in his first appearance, he is just wearing a suit. He has just literally just got a suit on. Then the second one, he's got a suit that's within a necklace. He just presses a button on the necklace and the suit just goes all over him. It's nice little progression, even though you go, well, hang on, that's not such a thing. You can't just get a suit like that. Who's saying that, in 10 years' time, you don't have that? You don't just press a button and the suit just pops out,
It's all like it's all like nanites and things like that, like sort of micro robots and stuff. Okay, I've been on for just under an hour and a half and stuff, so we're gonna have to wrap it up soon. So before we go, has anybody else got anything they want to say?
Well, I finished watching Westworld, and I thought that was great. It was just the first season, and I just love the twist at the end about when you realise just who William is and becomes.
I would leave it there. I don't think you should watch and I haven't watched the third season. Second season's okay, but the first season is so good that when you start going further on, it sort of taints it slightly because it's not as there's a lot like in the first one. There's so many parts to it. I think we had an entire sort of podcast dedicated to it, but like there was so many things in it that, you don't realize, the man in black is in fact, it's time jumping, it time jumps between things.
What I want to do sometime is actually sit down again and watch all of the first season of Westworld and just say, okay, now I know what I know. How does this change my understanding of the film? It's like the series is what's entire season again. Yeah, that would be very interesting.
I picked up on a couple of things, but there was loads of stuff people were pointing out, and I was like, "Holy shit! I didn't realize that," and stuff. And it's just like there's like the black hats and there's the white hats at the start, and the logos are different and stuff.
Yeah, I love the black hats and white hats. I mean, just like that's an absolute reference to the hacker culture.
Yeah. But yeah, that. Westworld was really good.
Yeah, I did start, and I've actually got through Space Force now on Netflix.
Oh, that was good. Space was good.
I actually really enjoy it. John Malkovich, I think every scene he's in, he just cracks me up because he's just so effortlessly funny. And even in that first episode, when like you got like Ned, every time he goes to his office, they go, Dr. Mallory's waiting in there for you. Did you not stop him? Oh, I tried. It's just like and the second episode when they're trying to fix their space station, it's like we've got a monkey in space, we can get him to do it. Okay, that's fine. And then they literally just jettison the monkey.
Oh yeah, he gets
the monkey
eats
abducted by a Chinese satellite.
Yeah.
It's like it's so crazy, but you would never see this on network TV because it is a high budget show. There is a lot of money that goes into it, but that second episode when they're literally communicating to the monkey, they're trying to get him to operate these tools to fix this satellite. It's just cringingly funny all the way through. And as I got through each episode, it felt like it was getting better and better. The comedy ramped up quite a bit, and then it does have a bit of a serious tone to it as well, because I thought when it was first advertised, I thought it was set in the future, but it is actually set in present day. Yeah. It's the idea that basically they're going, well, we've got the Navy, we've got the Air Force. How about Space Force? Why don't we?
We already have Space Force. To be honest.
We do.
And, I mean, it's part of the United States Air Force.
Yeah, but it's just I think it's a lot smarter, the show, than I think a lot of people take credit for. And I actually read some of the reviews for it, and some people really slating it, and I'm like, I don't see why people don't like it. I think it's very well put together. The only thing I kind of have a bit of an issue with is Steve Carell. He doesn't seem comfortable sometimes. He doesn't seem like he's actually comfortable, and this is his own character that he's created as well. This is his own person that he has developed over the obviously the course of his show, and he at times he just doesn't feel like he's able to fit in this world really well. But then, you know, like I say, you've got John Malkovich, who is just awesome, and even Ben Schwartz, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog himself is actually quite comical as this like PR guy who's just literally, he just goes around like trying to take selfies with people. He's trying to film everything, like all the good and the bad, and it's just
he's just John. He's just John Ralphio for me from Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, he is. But it's just, and Joe, what I really hope they do have a second series, because I think if Netflix, you know, Netflix has lost a lot of great shows over the last couple of years, and they've cancelled a lot of the all-time greats, and I can really see if Space Force got a second season, I reckon it could then become, if not probably their highest rated show. Cool.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to leave it there. Been on for about an hour and a half, which had a good long chat. Good to have you both back. Hopefully, we will be carrying on with our Dungeons and Dragons, journey. Hopefully tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on Mr. Delargy is free. If he's dating or not.
Oh, yes. I forgot he's still doing his online courting.
Yeah, his online courting. Though I'm not sure what the score is now, because obviously social distancing, I'm not sure
it's weird, because a lot of places obviously are still encouraging 2 meter rule, but then some of them have got it on the 1 meter plus. Because I went out earlier, and I haven't been to the pub, I ain't been to the restaurant, anything like that. But I went down the high street today, where obviously some of the pubs were open, and I kind of really wanted to shout at some people, because you could see how closed in they were together, how bunched up. And I just really always say, I thought, no, Jill, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be the better person. And then I kind of had to stop my partner, because I thought she was going to say something. I'm like, no, just walk along, walk along. We're not that stupid. We can leave them to it. You know, They get ill, they get ill. That's up to them. I know it sounds horrible to say, but, you know, just why don't people just be a bit more sensible? That's all I ask.
Yeah, I mean, basically, my dad's really ill at the moment. He's not got the virus or anything, but he's just very old, and I've not seen my dad now since mid-March. And even with social distancing, it's like we don't take this. The first thing my little boy would do as soon as his grandpa would run to him and give him a hug, and because it's so far away, we'd have to stop off at service stations, use the toilets, and just there's so much risk. We can't just take the risk at the moment. And I just want this virus to go away, so basically my kids and me can go and see Grandpa and Nanny.
Yeah, that's the same.
I like to sound like you're just going to ship them off. Yeah, the kids can go and see them. Yeah, I'll stay here. No, I get that. You know, you can go to the pub, you can go and mix out people, but you can't go and see your relatives. That just still doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want this.
Make sense to anyone.
My mum's trying to get me to come home to Northern Ireland for a bit, and then even my sister, my brother might stay over, but he says he doesn't hug her or anything like that and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like I would like to see my mum, because I haven't seen her. It's been for like 6 months. Like, I don't see my family very often, but it's just we'd be worried that I might not have it, but I could be I could carry it and stuff.
Well,
and I wouldn't want
this. It's like, no, you might not have it. I mean, you are observing social distancing, but through going there, through airports or whatever, basically being in close proximity to people using their toilets, that is how we could potentially maybe contract it. And it's just people that's going to need to kind of stay calm, stay inside, and just keep yourselves a bit longer. The vaccine is being developed. Yeah. All we've got to do is just sit tight, stay calm, stay cool, and be slinky.
The thing is, I was going to say, I think this would be most people's dreams, wouldn't it? You know, just sitting at home all day, just playing video games. You know, why can't you just do that for another month or two? Yeah. Come on.
I'm not PSA. Just stay home, chill out, and don't be idiots. And on the streets of Soho and on the beaches, just think. Don't be. Because it's not just you. You're affecting other people, because you're going to come in contact with them and stuff. And it's just like, if you go somewhere and it's rammed, leave. Just leave. You know, and it's just like, I appreciate then, so well, then everybody go, there'll be only a certain amount of people. If you've got no space, just leave. Don't be one of those people. Don't be that person who's photographed and you see, you know, they're just beside each other. It's just like, it's ridiculous. It's just like, it's unsafe. And you know, it's just it's silly. But anyway, on that moment, we'll leave it there. But yes, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thanks to Laura for the comments earlier, and to my co-host tonight, Peter Ray Ellison.
See you around.
And Jon Jo Cosgrove.
Stay safe, friends.
That's good evening from us. Thanks a lot, guys. See you.